If you do not have monsters in the game, why are you displaying them?
Don't show them. Purchased, yes, in the US, but don't just travel in the US thanks to the style.
Understanding that we need to boost somehow, then changing creatives and starting to add HTML elements.
99% chance video will fly, increase conversion from PC for installation.
Plus minus some sort of there, only the third creative, there are refined ones. Greetings to all. We have an additional analysis of the CSGO games for you. This time Dima contacted us.
Hello everyone, we are a young new studio from Ukraine. This is our first venture, so to speak, a trial run. And so we reached out to the guys, we want to hear what they think about our game.
Vika, please tell me about Snyder, why he is liked or disliked in the States.
Greetings to all individuals. So let us shake the screen at this moment. We will commence with the first question. Is this the same game or not? Because here you have monsters and here you have individuals.
The same, yes.
Regarding A, can you tell me a little bit about what exactly is happening? Because firstly here, of course, it's completely different, and the emphasis here is more on, well, hunting zombies, hunting monsters, and even the description is tailored to that. Here's a totally different concept. I mean, 2 separate games plus cancellation here.
No, the inquiry is solely, as I comprehend, about the organization referred to as ASO, gameplay or not.
Well, yes.
Well, on iOS, the game, Losse hasn't been done properly yet, so we're only discussing the Android part of the game for now. So here's Android, this is how it looks as it evolved.
Look. Take another glance. The guys recently made the purchase of the game.
Hey guys, I have a question. Does the gameplay vary between Android and iOS devices for you?
No, in no way absolutely identical.
Simply on Losse, well, we are like that. On iOS, we do not eliminate monsters there. If anything, on iOS, we exterminate different types of soldiers.
Yes, absolutely correct.
The same thing happens on Android.
Now to my question. Look, here in the screenshots, let's go through ASU. They gave me the product. I analyze it. I mention everything. Whether you purchased it or not, we are specifically discussing what currently exists. First, if you do not have monsters in the game, why are you displaying them? We do not display them. Second point, there are only 4 screenshots here, which is a very small number. The third point, you have a shooter, so you need to include a video here in any circumstance. 99% chance video will fly, increase conversion from views to installations. Third point, if you possess a title, it is filled, assuming I am not mistaken, with a total of 30 characters. We can rapidly double check. 3. Title with 30 characters, subtitle with 80 characters. Everything is clear. Description in 2000 characters. Overall, for a shooter, it's fine, but it can be slightly expanded. We need to look at indexing now. It'll be visible. However, if we're not talking about zombies, monsters, or anything like that, it's a different theme, you capture a slightly different niche, and those who want to kill zombies probably install and drop off. Accordingly, your conversion rate will decrease, and you shouldn't do that. If you are playing with some warriors, soldiers, and so on, then you should write about it. Currently, you're presenting your product a bit irrelevantly.
Not following. Well, it's better. It's replaced happening.
This is messy. And by the way, this is also not very good because sometimes rejections and bans come from messiness.
Well, this is quite a hypothetical idea, isn't it? It's interesting to ponder on such theoretical concepts.
Yes, but nevertheless, it's better not to do it this way. It needs to be fixed. Regarding indexing in general, I see a lot of ratings here. 5 million installations. So this is not a new application, it's already outdated in the market. But what's happening with the visuals now? It's a disaster. Everything needs to be redone. Even I, as a girl, understand I wouldn't want to install such a shooter where they will shoot. I lack action, I don't understand what will happen here, and I have few screenshots. So you should have a minimum of 5 screens. The first, second, third, the most viewed, the most interesting ones should be your first, second, third screens. You further fill in the rest there with functionality. But, again, returning to the fact that this is a shooter, you have a lot of cool windows here where you can definitely buy weapons. Acquire some armor, a new location, something else. Well, there is something to demonstrate here, and you need to incorporate more. Because the fewer skins you have, the more the user understands that you lack functionality and features. So you can come to the conclusion that there's nothing to play. There's nothing to play here. It won't be interesting here. So he will leave. He won't support you. Minimum of 5 screenshots. The same with iOS. With iOS, there are completely different screens here, a different icon. By the way, I really like the icon here much more. It's well designed, beautiful, and catches attention, at least for me. Regarding this location once more, there is a monster here that you do not possess. I mean, maybe they were here, but now at least probably they are not. And here are 4 screenshots, not enough. Let's move on. No comments on the evaluation, both have a great rating of 4.7, good reviews on the wall, splendid, nothing needs to be done about it. Regarding pop-ups, there is only 1 pop-up, which is very few. They are indexed and help attract more traffic. Therefore, create at least 5 to 7 different pop-ups with different names. Include our main search queries in the pop-up name. They are ranked, and you will already occupy not just 1 position, but 2 positions in the search results.
The most intriguing aspect is the fact that they are present in the store, specifically in the game store to be precise. For some reason, it's not added here.
I wanted to mention that if the ratio of the number of installations to reviews is low, indicating that there are only a few reviews for some reason, it could be because users have not been prompted to rate the game yet, but the rating is still high, so that could be the reason.
By the way, everything is requested normally in iOS.
In Android, 5 million.
But around 30,000 is more than sufficient. That is a favorable rating. Naturally, you can include beggars a bit more frequently, assuming all these are genuine reviews, with a rating of 4.7. Then they will be happy to provide it to you. It will be fantastic if they enhance their presence, but in this manner, even though they unexpectedly appeared on the wall, can you imagine?
Well, yes, I do see, and I must admit, it's not a very pleasant sight to behold.
Yes, we need to include a beggar, attempt to sweep it all with fresh reviews, because currently it is more challenging to work with likes on reviews, to eliminate them, and shift them away from the wall. It is possible, but it is a lengthy process. If you have a user base that enjoys playing your game and likes it, then in this case, you simply add a beggar, and with the influx of new reviews over time, it will gradually be eliminated as more positive feedbacks are received. Well, I mean, it's not a problem. Well, it's not critical.
At present, you have an American locale, and I have suspicions.
Yes, I have America, the States.
By the way, all the reviews from last year and earlier are posted here, all from the year 2023.
Certainly, we can proceed to visually examine and assess the situation accordingly. Well, here come the new ones, but you see, it is similar to how it happens once every couple of days with the arrival of the new ones.
Small, and they are not as well liked, so to speak, as these.
If you have a large team, you can genuinely ask the team members to like the same review, make a sincere effort to boost its visibility, or contact us for assistance. We will do our utmost to help you achieve your objective. But if before you could copy the link to the review, share the link, go to it, and a specific review would open for you, now this option is not available, so it's harder to work with. However, we can work with reviews, but what interests us the most is the rating, as it is visible immediately, and you have a good rating. Work on the reviews on the wall. Visuals need improvement, change the screenshots, or if you have app tests, check what's happening, because these are completely irrelevant screens, irrelevant icon. Is there a video on the app or not?
No, not currently. I'll just share a joke with you for now.
It is imperative to incorporate a video without a doubt, with regard to the textual component and the information we have in terms of indexing. When it comes to Android, we definitely have indexing in general. It is really strange that it is not implemented for all the relevant keywords. I haven't gathered all the semantics here, but I've selected the main keywords. If you have 5 million installations, then you should have a lot of organic traffic, and you should be indexed for the main relevant keywords. The issue here is either that you haven't specified them or that there's insufficient traffic after all. If we discuss, for instance, let us have a look through ASO as an illustrative example. So, you have shooting games. For this key phrase to appear only once in a short description is very little. So the specific issue here is that you need to mention it several times also in the description to increase its visibility. However, this is more of a general request, and we need to place a greater emphasis on sniper games and all aspects associated with them. And here again, you only have it in the title, only once in a short description. The full description is never there. Well, I mean, we really need to add it at least in that specific location by 200-250 characters, once we mention the most fundamental keywords. That's it. and this will simply resolve this situation. If there is a substantial increase in organic traffic, any traffic in general, then it will be properly indexed. If there is no traffic, then just changing the ASO there, adding keys won't help you. In this case, it's a working project, traffic is coming, reviews are coming, etc. It's already set up, built, just need to rewrite the basics. It's not that difficult. It will just take some time to reassemble everything and update. In relation to the name, once more on Android, I have no knowledge. That is, you do not possess it in the test conducted there. If it is not included in the test, then it definitely needs to be changed. Well, because it is irrelevant. Here, additionally regarding iOS. Here, in principle, search queries are not repeated. Here, everything is filled in under characters. They did not send me the keys, so I am unaware of what you have inside. However, based on the appearance, it seems that it is not bad at all. However, once more, this could be related to the fact that you have traffic. Shooting games do exist. Wall of the day. You do not receive traffic from this, however, you have positions. Therefore, you can work with this, calmly promote these keywords, and pull them to the top. At this moment, our main priority is to ensure that everything looks good initially, so that it is competitive. We need to focus on this aspect before anything else. Here, in case you do not tidy up your appearance, it will be quite challenging to attract attention, even if you manage to become the #1 person there. So you won't stay. In order to take someone's place, when you come out there in first, second, third place, you take someone's place. An established app that already earns a lot of organic traffic from there, daily, over a possibly long period. Accordingly, if you desire to assume his position, you must be competent and competitive, and then it makes logical sense, so that you can remain, you will have organic traffic, and everything will be cool, fantastic, and great in every aspect. And if we were to draw a conclusion in this case at this very moment, there is a shortage of screenshots, no videos, so it is not quite clear what the advantage of your application is compared to your competitors. The boss is a bit challenging, but nevertheless, there is indexing functionality. And you can and should work with this application. That is from the Android OS point of view. You need to go through all the fields there. For iOS, you need to understand what you have in the keys. If you send them, we will provide a free audit for you in the States. Let's check the keywords if they need rebuilding or if they're already gathered. We just need to focus on positions, i.e. drive traffic or boost to the top. And once again, work on the screenshots because there are only 4 of them here, and once again, this is a problem.
Hey, Victoria, can I ask your opinion? I've been thinking and noticed a trend of using horizontal and vertical screenshots, you know? Is there some kind of pattern that suggests we need to put 4 vertical screenshots and 3 horizontal ones or something like that?
I am in favor of vertical screenshots because they occupy more space. Well, at least in iOS.
But the game itself is also in vertical format.
Well, and even more so, yes. So here the exception can be when you play adaptively, then you can flip the phone, yes, play there and there. It makes sense to test this functionality and see if it works.
You know what I'm contemplating? That on Google Play, it offers diverse supports for these comparable LoRaWs. Yes, there are some advertising-related elements present in that platform. And sometimes you can see that he inserts these horizontal screenshots there.
You know, I haven't analyzed all of this, but it can be examined in more detail. However, I believe approximately 80% of it, well, it operates in a slightly different manner. Due to the unpredictable and complex nature of the Android market, I believe that it does not simply analyze you in a horizontal or vertical manner, but rather it thoroughly examines and scrutinizes. So there is a very large combination of factors. When we come across similar applications to competitors, it is often the case of the same user installing 2 applications in parallel. Essentially, they might not even be very similar to one another, but when you have approximately 30,000 downloads occurring simultaneously, one client redeems, another client makes a purchase, and as a result, you obtain clients who are alike.
I mean, he does, you see these similar ones, they are kind of a little bit horizontal in their orientation. And sometimes he inserts these horizontal screenshots there, as if, what is he doing there if they are not there? I'm unsure, I genuinely do not know, I'm utterly clueless.
I think maybe it's generated in any of these. Yes, it's generated in any of these, because imagine popular apps without horizontal screenshots. Well, because in any case, look, in the market, you have very few horizontal screenshots. Frequently, they are designed for tablets, well, when your application supports both mobile and tablet devices, you know. However, when it comes to having the attachment positioned horizontally, I personally don't think that would be the best option. Most probably, it is highly unlikely. That's the conclusion. Overall, I think that's everything. If you have any inquiries, let's summarize and wrap up the discussion.
No questions. Everything is constructive. I see these issues myself. Thank you very much. Very valuable. We will apply them.
There is no problem. That is it. Then I am done with everything.
Thanks a lot, Vika. Zoryana, it is now your turn to take the floor and share your thoughts.
Greetings. I must say I had an incredible time playing the game. It was truly enjoyable and left a lasting impression on me, particularly the fact that there are not just advertisements, but also acquisitions. You can collaborate with it. In accordance with tradition, I will commence by requesting Jim to kindly provide the game metrics, as is customary in our proceedings. Let's start with an overview, so that our viewers find it more interesting and clear how much of our revenue comes from advertising and how much from purchases. What about player retention and the amount of time they spend playing?
At present, our retention rate stands at about 30%, but our goal is to preserve it at that same level in our efforts. Monetization with third party. Currently more focused not on in-app, haven't checked how it works after buying the game. But as I grasp, around 15-20% is from in-app. The game is primarily more favored with us.
Okay, would you be able to kindly share with me the exact count of official ad views per user that you currently have in your system, please?
I have not inspected any user so far. Now let us check roughly what we are able to obtain.
How many minutes playtime?
AVGI playtime, 20-30 minutes.
Well, I had the impression that it was approximately in the range of 13 to 20. You know, how frequently does an individual come across an advertisement within a duration of 15 to 20, 30 minutes?
The duration should be no less than 10 minutes. That's great, and it's inter, isn't it? I possess comprehension of inter or larda. The majority of individuals are presently on inter when undergoing the transition between levels in the current moment of time.
Simply cool. Permit me to share the screen, and we will swiftly go through, take a look at what's approximately available in this genre in terms of general purchases overall. Based on my findings, it appears that the game is contained within a mini clip. Primarily, the traffic and reviews on this platform are naturally from the United States. Japan exists, Canada exists, and Europe exists. These three countries are situated in different regions of the world. We do not have impressions on hearts. They do not provide a significant amount of creativity, particularly in terms of gameplay mechanics and overall game experience. However, it is important to note that there are video and play angles in operation here. Regarding the most recent update, I would like to emphasize that playlists are functioning exceptionally well on nearly all networks. We should consider extending the duration of time spent in this particular area to maximize our experience and make the most of our visit. It is all the same, we primarily have creative gameplay. Everything is simple. There are buttons, settings located at the end. Very simple, really like games like shooters, and they work on PlayStations because users are very interested in playing by themselves, seeing what's happening inside the game, trying it out, so to speak, and then downloading it. Furthermore, there is an additional component known as a shooter, which is a spinner located in the Azure environment. All the traffic we have is also coming from the States, so there are probably a few purchases here. Similar situation, mainly advertising is running.
Yes, it is primarily advertising. Mainly it is that, that's the main focus, the primary purpose, you see. They stock up in the United States, but they do not just travel within the United States thanks to the style. Overall, the Western style is interesting even in strange places like Asia.
Yes, shooters are popular in Asia. They are doing quite well.
No, here we are talking specifically about a Western. Asians love Westerns.
I genuinely appreciate their creativity. They are also quite simple, yet well outlined and beautifully executed. The hero without a face. They executed an exceptionally cool job on various social media platforms. I have a genuine liking for it. Here, as you can clearly see, there is also playable, so in this specific genre, they will most likely achieve great success. It is definitely worth investing in such games for promotional purposes. Iron Source really likes to provide traffic for this particular genre of games. Since there is a sufficient amount of advertising in the game, good timing, and a fairly decent retention rate, then of course you can give this game a try.
So the Dawn can inquire about this question. Look, if I understand correctly, then Play 2 is exclusively available on the second day.
Yes, but you see, there are numerous of them present in this location. You see somewhere in the vicinity is the row at the lowest position.
What do I mean? If we talk about the most popular one being launched, and we see 80 million rides without Play 2, the number of rides is incredibly high.
Look, it was launched in the year 22. Then they started to realize that they needed to boost somehow, then change creatives and began to add HTML. You see, if I scroll down, they have already kind of tested it themselves. The new version of HTML was implemented in 23. Mostly affirmative in the event that creativity has gained traction in a certain place. He is capable of prolonging it for an extensive duration, as he tends to experience burnout.
Indeed, yes, and we observe that there is some sort of plus minus. Only the third creative individual there has such remarkably low numbers. Understood. That's good to know. I will proceed by expanding the screen, and then Denis and I will engage in a detailed discussion regarding the information we have received about the current aerosol binding setup. It is important for us to thoroughly analyze and evaluate the data before making any decisions or taking further action. Well, once again, at this particular moment in time, there isn't much joy or happiness here, so I am unable to give any clever or insightful advice or guidance to offer. Denis and I will probably have differing opinions on the wormwood. I would still make an effort to incorporate it at this particular spot.
No, it doesn't make sense. The wormhole doesn't work.
Here. However, what I would certainly include is a significant one for the United States and for Korea. Yes, there is no Biga. Biga is in Russia.
Okay. I would state that Korea is not included because Biga in Korea is not very good, or the final thing they mentioned, like they still remain the strongest markets. It is the EU and Europe that hold the top positions. In the US, his absence is strange, and it's challenging to bring him here from that location. And what about Korea?
This is simply EU-Korea 1 tier, based on my understanding of the situation at hand.
Korea needs some pangle. Korea needs some kind of wine to try something like that.
There are no inquiries or queries about Pangle in this specific context, if we are referring to the United States and Korea as the subject of discussion.
But in the US, it won't be there.
Yes, but what I mean is, there is only one tier for these two countries.
What is APS? Is it some kind of advertising network that they have?
I would assume this is like Amazon Publishing Service.
Oh yes, that is indeed Amazon. However, I am curious as to why it is participating in the bidding process. Although he is bidding.
Well, he is such a bidding person, let us all say that Amazon is underbidding their competitors in the market.
Or everyone is underbidding. Well, yes. However, it is quite challenging to determine what they have because there is no share of wallet available for reference. In order to fully comprehend the extent to which any advertising network operates in one way or another, it is essential to understand the underlying principles of the waterfall. Currently, the level of granularity in the waterfall is not very detailed, and it would be beneficial to make it more granular. This increased granularity could potentially result in some small spillage, approximately 2 or maybe 1.5% of revenue. Denis, could you please clarify your meaning regarding granularity? To provide some context, the waterfall consists of a conditional top section with a couple of columns, a conditional middle section with 4 or 5 columns, and a small bottom section. In a granular manner, for instance, you have the ability to increase the middle by 40 if the identical advertising networks such as Google Ad Manager permit it, 40. Even when transitioning from 50 to 25, make a decrement not by $5, not by $8, but by a smaller amount ranging from $2 to $3, taking a step that is lower in value. See how it works. Below $2, probably in the States, up to 10, from 20 to 10, it makes sense to take a step there at 1, even at 0.5 in some places. The closer to 10, the more granular to see how it will work below 10. I agree that there is no point in putting anyone there because basically everything is taken by bidding, well, something like that. And also here again, because it's unclear how the network works, it's impossible to say if it makes sense to push. Just looking at the rates, I would draw such a conclusion. Well, for example, this is mediation. Accordingly here, mediation iron source. Accordingly here, mediation is like an ad network. It does not work as a bidder, and at the moment, one of the largest demand ad networks. There may already probably be more than, well, not more, but comparable, let's say, approximately, around, roughly, in the vicinity of, to a certain extent, to some degree, to a certain degree. So, accordingly, their bidder would have worked harder here, for example, and perhaps such granularity would not have been necessary. And within the iron source framework, I would implement the process of granulation.
Apologies for interrupting. If we were talking about traditional networks, when you transfer mucus to iron source, the carbonated drinks that need to be melted will be taken by iron source, and that will be the end of it. That is, if we were specifically discussing classic networks and the transfer of snots to iron source.
The point is that there is no point.
You would not place an air source at coordinates 60-60 within the suspected waterfall.
Yes, I would not install it, particularly on Android. I would install it on iOS for the so-called LUT users, but not on regular users. That is the first thing. The reason is that the app is not optimized for Android and may cause compatibility issues, whereas it is specifically designed for iOS. Secondly, on Android, I most likely wouldn't install RAN source at all because it is the weakest there.
Well, here I will permit you, as always, to have a different opinion. Yes, he is quite, well, he makes up for it. Well, I'm concerned he makes up for it in terms of enhancing the user's experience. I will not even argue with that, but it functions quite effectively on the Android operating system. Switching it off at this particular moment most likely doesn't make sense yet.
If an ad network on Android has a minimum of 1 to 2% share of wallet, then it doesn't make sense from a business perspective. And in the case that it is less, it signifies that the revenue of this advertising network will be redistributed among other outsourcers in order to maintain a fair distribution. Hence, air resources rates generally have a tendency to be higher or lower, with a fluctuation of around 1 to 2%. It all depends on the application, so give it a try, and if it doesn't work, you have the option to disable it.
And it all comes down to a multicolored waterfall. Yes, if we're talking about bidding, there is even a range of 0.2, 0.3%. If it does not cause confusion and nerves, then it has the right to protection and should be safeguarded against any potential harm.
Yes, but once again, such networks, for instance, they have Joy being there who has unfortunately passed away. It's unclear why he is standing there.
Probably didn't see.
Well, perhaps. I mean, either in Mobi bidding, yes, which is also rather weak at the moment, or maybe not. It's hard to say for sure.
Today, Mobi reached out to me as we are interested in assisting you in expanding your potential for growth.
As soon as they expand their supply potential and the ability to pay properly. And then what else?
Listen, so well, you say that Emobi like a weak network, but the fact that it's in bidding, it doesn't consume strong resources, right?
Yes, it does not eat, but you still need to provide support for their adapter, update it there, and if any issues arise, then look for the reasons. The same goes for example, my target, yes, bidding. When building, well.
Initially, they made adjustments when they launched it, and subsequently they decided to remove it.
Perhaps, however, overall, I would not utilize my target as it is no longer known as my target, but has been rebranded as VK Ads, which is the new name for it. I also disconnected. Just can't work with this company because it's focused only on the Russian market. And even in that place, it does not show any results compared to the Yandex search engine.
And Biga.
And Biga, yes.
And by the way, Iron Source, since it is just on the market, it is more or less in its original state without significant changes.
Require confirmation, but with regards to Iron Source and their demand for mediation, when there is a bidder of questionable credibility, it is always highly doubtful and raises significant concerns.
All right. I assume we have covered all the aspects we possibly could in relation to ad mediation.